qual piuma al vento muta d'accento e di pensiero sempre un amabile leggiadro viso il pianto il riso e menzognero la donna è mobile qual piuma al vento muta d'accento.
Greetings, students. This is the final installation in the Microsoft Word series. Today we'll be looking at the Mailings tab. As you can see in the Mailings tab, there are various buttons. We have the envelopes buttons, labels buttons, the start mail merge, the select recipients, edit recipients, highlight, merge fields, address block, greetings line, insert merge field, preview results, find recipient. Now we'll be going through these buttons, and I'll just highlight first of all what mail merge is. Here we see the start mail merge button. Okay, so mail merge is a method of let's say you had to send the same letter to various companies. Let's say you are applying for a job, so each company, Digicel, Flow, JPS, etc., would have different names, different titles, different recruitment personnel. So some companies might say general manager, some companies might say HR, which is resource, a human resource manager, or human resource personnel, whatever the word in the verbiage they may use. So let's say that you wanted to send a letter to all of them. Each company would have a different manager's name, so you can create a field to hold each manager's name. So whenever you need to send a letter to any of these companies, you could just insert the name of the manager in the letter. Suppose the manager's name changes, then you can go back and edit and change the manager's name and then continue using that same field. So it makes it easier for you rather than typing in every company's information over and over again. You just create a list and then you can insert it in your document. And of course you can print each letter with each title and company's name and the manager's name and email address and so on and so forth. Let's use the example of a club. Let's say that you are in a club. Let's say you are a Rotaractor, or you're in the Rotary Club. Let's say you're in a Lions Club or the Girls Guide or Scouts or whatever, and you have many members. You can simply save or you can simply create a list of these members with varying addresses and names, then type one letter and insert the fields. Suppose you don't want to send a letter to this block of members, you only wanted to send it to let's say persons in this parish, then you can find all the fields with that parish and you can insert in the letter so that only persons in this parish can get the letter when you print it. It's a very useful tool. So let us first look at our letter. Okay, so here's our letter. At the top you'll notice we have the position where you put your name, you put your address, your email, your telephone number, and the date if necessary. Please remember we use the insert tab to insert the date and if necessary the time. Okay, so I've put salutations there for the greetings, but of course, you know, we could still use dear sir, and I've been told that we no longer use commas, we now use semicolons. But do whatever your teacher has taught you to do. This is what I learned. This is how I learned it in school. So this is how I do it. But anyway, so we put our greetings salutation there. Letter states that you are the president of the Bustamante Young Inventors Club and you're asking for donations and assistance to receive the following items. And then we have our closing, and then we have the position where you put your name on and your position under the signature line. Now, let us look now at the mailings tab. Let us go to start mail merge, and if you notice, it says that you have letters, email messages, envelopes, labels, directory, normal Word document, step-by-step mail merge wizard. Now we could use this over here and set up the mail merge instead. But I prefer to show it to you manually because that's kind of self-explanatory. They ask you type this, and you type it, and then when it's finished, it says click finish, and it clicks finish. That's straightforward. You don't need no explanation for that. But this one, where it says no, you have to type letters, envelopes, and envelopes, and labels. Sorry, then you know that you have to do it manual. Okay. So because we're doing a letter, I'm going to put select letters. I've selected letters. Then now I will select type a new list. Okay. Now this is where we'll create the titles and columns that we need to insert in the letter. Now if you notice, that's title, first name, last name, company name, address, and so on and so forth. And we can always add more or subtract more, which I'm about to show you in a second. Alright, so this is where we're going to type up the list of people that we want to send the letter to, or we want to be in this grouping. Okay, so first let me show you the new entry button, and the new entry will put another entry below the first row. Please remember, rows run from left to right, columns run from top to below. So I'll add a new entry, and there's our second record. Third entry, there's our third record. Another entry, there's our fourth record. A new entry, there's our fifth record. Okay. So each time you click the new entry button, it adds another row. So you may enter another name, another address, another record in general. Alright. We can also delete an entry, but I'm not going to do that yet. Let's look at instead customize columns. So I click customize columns, and here are all the columns listed across the list. So I'm going to delete. I'm going to delete the ones that I don't want there. And you don't have to delete them. You can also rename it. But we're rushing ahead. Let's take our time. So here we go. I'm deleting all of these so that I can show you. Now we have what? First name, last name, address line, country or region. Let's take out country or region. Unless you're applying for a job overseas. So first name, last name, address, email. So I click OK, and you'll notice that the columns change. Now I only have address, last name, first name, and email. Let's go again. Let's say I wanted to add a column now. I can go over to the right side and I can add a column. And this column will be the position, the name of the position held by the person I'm sending it to, because remember it's a letter asking for donations, so we have to put the name of the position of the person. So I'll put I'll put position. I put position title. Now I'm just going to click OK to show you something. Notice that first name is there, position title is there, and then last name. But I want the position title to be the first thing on the left. I don't want to separate the last name and the first name. So I click on customize columns, I click on position title, and I click move up. Position title move up. So I click OK, and there's position title on the left. First name and last name are back together again. Alright. Let's say that I don't want to use the title address line 1. I can simply click on it, click rename, and then rename this as company address. Click OK, click OK. So there we have now company's address. So we have position title, which is the position of the person, first name, last name, company address, and then we have email address. Let us say we wanted to add a telephone number. So I just click add. I put telephone number. Click OK. And there's telephone number, but we know that telephone number would appear where first name is. So I want to put the telephone number closer to the email. You don't have to, but I prefer to do it that way so that it looks neat. So now we know telephone number will forward before address, or we could put telephone number above email. Same thing. There we go. So now we have position title, name title, last name, company name, telephone number, and email address. Okay. Now we can also delete a column if we wish. All we'd have to do is just click on the column and then press delete, and it will be removed. Showed you that already. Let's add some details to each record. So for position, I might put general manager. Each company has a different name for the person who deals with the daily operations. So in this case, I'm using human resource personnel. Let's say supervisor. Public relations liaison. And last and finally, we might also have somebody who deals with Alright, so these are the positions now that we'll put in our letter. Let's add some first names. Let's add some last names. All right, so the company address can be and of course we would add some telephone numbers as well. There's one field missing which I'll have to add after. All right, so let's say okay. So just for experience, I'm just going to copy the phone numbers and just paste them. Makes it easier for me and move a little bit quicker. Okay, and then we can also add some email addresses. Also for expedience, I'll just copy and paste these. Okay, so I missed one field. I did not add one field. I wonder if anybody saw what field that was. So I'm going to go back to customize columns, and I'm going to add a field, and this field will be called, did anybody see which field I did not add? Company what? Name. Okay, so I'm putting the company name in. Now where do I put the company name? I think it's safe to put it there. I don't think that should be a problem. So I'm clicking OK, and here our company name column, so I can just add in some companies. I'm just going to go by the email, and I'm shortening it, but please use the full length of the name and not just the abbreviations when you are typing your letters. If you use the abbreviation, make sure that the full length of the name is also there. But just to save time, I'm just doing it this way. Okay, so this is our first record, JPS, with the emails and the address. It's our second record, ALCO, with the emails and the address and the name of the managers and the position. This is the Digicel record. This is the Flow record. This is the National Water Commission record. So here we have our list, and this will be our mail merge list. So I click OK. It's going to ask you to save the list. Where do you want to save the list? For my purpose, I'm going to save it on the desktop, and I'm going to call it use club letter mail merge list. And remember, some lists may be even 500 records long. It just depends on how many people you're sending it to. Okay, so now that we have created that, now we know that we're supposed to put the person's name and address and so on under our own name and address, date and email. So we have to put all those fields under this. Now wherever you put the cursor is where the field will go. So we look through the buttons and we see insert merge field. This is the button we're going to use to insert the merge field. Now let's add some fields. If we check the buttons, we will see that we have an insert merge field. I click on the arrow. Here are the fields. So the first one we are going to put in would be what? The first name. Please bear in mind, wherever you put the cursor, that's where the field would go. So I put first name, then I put last name, then I press enter to start a new line. I'm going to put the company name, No, I should put the position first. Press enter, start a new line. Then I should put the company name, another line, company address, another line, email, last is what, the phone number. Okay, so these are fields that we have created and we've inserted them. Okay, we can actually preview the fields if we want to see the information for each individual person. So we would click on preview, and here's our first record that we entered with Kevin Lindsay, general manager, the company being JPS, the address, the email, and the phone number. This arrow right here would allow you to scroll through or skip through each individual letter to see how it would look. So when I click it, I get Stacey Edwards. When I click it again, I get Kirk Dunkley. Then I get Lincoln Malcolm. Then I get Matthew Peters, and so on and so forth. And if you want, you can click back as well. Please bear in mind that if any information here is incorrect, you can always go back and change it. Or maybe somebody's phone number changed, or their address changed, or the name of the person who you're addressing the letter to has changed. Then you can simply go back and edit the list. Okay, we can also highlight the fields, because remember, this doesn't necessarily have to go at the top. We may want to use it in the letter. Suppose we were doing a product letter about products, and we wanted to just list the name of the products, then we could just insert it wherever in the document we wanted to. But there's some other features there that we can use, such as highlight merge fields, in case you want to identify where the fields are in the letter if you are not using it in this manner, because remember, it can be applied in many different situations. I'm using it in the context of a letter, because more than likely most of you will be writing job letters or job application letters, or you'll be writing like club lists and letters to club members and so on and so forth. So that's the context I'm using it in, but there are other contexts you can use it. So by highlighting it, we can tell where in the letter the fields are located, and we can also turn off the preview to go back to our original field. Alright, so please remember to click save after you've finished doing your editing. This ensures that the letter this ensures that the fields you've added are saved in the document. You can go to file, we can go to print, and we would click print. Print would result in all the letters being printed, not just one, but all 5 letters being printed. You have other features, of course, and in case information has changed, once again, we can always click on edit recipient list and go back and edit our list. So we could delete an entry, we could delete a record, we could change the name of a field, we could add a field, we could delete a field, whatever we want to do. So now let's look at the example where we've already typed our letter and we want to add an existing list. So we would have created a mail merge list already, and we are now just using that same list to add it to a different letter. Now, as per usual, we have your name, your position, your address, phone number, and the date at the top. We have your we have our greetings. We have our main body and closing of the letter. Let me just put this in double spacing just to make it look a little bit more neat. Double spacing, right? And we also have our closing remarks, our signature line, and your name and position at the below. So now we can search and find an existing list and add any mail merge fields that we want to add to this letter. Remember, wherever you place the cursor, that's where the field is going to go. So I'm going to put the cursor under the date because it will be the recipient's address and name and so on that we'll be adding. So we will click on what? Mailings. Select recipient list. This time we're not typing a new list as we did before. This time we're using an existing list. So we click on use existing list. Find the source of the existing list. Alright. Then we will go insert, and then here are our fields. So here's the parent name, address, phone number, email address. So the first one I'm adding is parent name. Remember, wherever the cursor is, that's where the field will show up. I'm adding the address. I'm adding the phone number. I'm adding the email. And here are our fields. Please remember to click save so that the fields are imprinted in the document. Remember, we can always preview to see what we have done. And here we go. We have the address, we have the phone number, and we have the email. I don't see the parent name. Alright, we'll soon look at that. So here are the address, the parent name, and so on. And I'm clicking through them. Okay, here's one. Stephen Clark lives at Platinum Avenue. That's his letter. Andrew Lindsay. Email Andy. There's the phone number. Mike McCullough. Carter Hill. Phone number. And so on and so forth. Okay, so in the first record, there was no name there, which means that we can go back to edit recipient list and we can find out what happened to the record of the parent name. So there's no parent name there. So we can go in, select the name of the list, because you may have multiple lists that you would create. Some of you are very industrious. You may run or manage more than one club, or you're into many different organizations, so you may have more than one list listed. So click on the list that you want to use or change, click edit, and we're going to add a name right there. Alright, so notice in the previous example we had first name and last name separate. In this example now we have first name and last name in one field. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Okay, so once you've made a correction or changes, we just click OK. Do you want to update your list? That says yes, and then we click OK again, and there's Peter Parker, and then we can just click through to make sure. And of course, you know, the highlight merge field is there in case you need to find a field somewhere located in the document, and so on and so forth. So mail merge, it's a good tool. If you go into the world of work where you have to work in an office or so on, it's good to know these skills, because bosses will depend on you to be efficient, and plus it saves time. Because if you can just create the fields and enter the names or numbers and addresses of persons, and then based on that you can edit it and just mail letters, update them, and so on and so forth. It makes life easier for you. And be mindful that this doesn't only apply to letters. Suppose you're doing an SBA, and you know that you're doing multiple SBAs, and you know that teachers have different names, different classes, forms. You can also use it for that if you're going to use those fields in your documents. So it's not only limited to letters. Like I said, this is a tool, and even though I'm showing it to you in the context of a letter, it can be used in many other ways. It's just up to your imagination how you can use it. Okay, so that basically does it for mail merge. This greeting lines here, I didn't really stress it, but if you wished, you could actually use a greeting line from, it says, dear sir or madam, to whom it may concern, or you could say none. So it's up to you if you want to insert an additional greeting line. Maybe you don't like this line, you can go into it and just change it and click on the one that you want. Or you could even create your own and put it in there. It's up to you. Let's say that you have a very large list, a list of maybe 500 people. It will be very tedious to be clicking through trying to find the name of somebody in particular. So they put the option of this find recipient button, which you can click on, and you can use it to find the name or the address of any record. Because maybe you want to change something in the body of that particular letter. So let's go. Let's say that we want to find in the field of parent a particular name. So let's look for Clark, and there is Stephen Clark. You can click find next in case no, there's no other Clark. In case there's more than one Clark, you click find next to ensure that you're at the right Clark, because there could be more than one name there with the name, more than one person there with the name Clark. So once you have found the record now, okay, you can go ahead and edit and do whatever you want to do. Maybe change something with the name, change something with that particular letter, whatever it is. Alright, so that's been the mailings tab. I trust you've garnered something from it. Just to reiterate that it's not only on letters, you can also print on envelopes and labels. You can edit recipient lists, you can create lists, edit recipient lists. You can add a greeting line, you can insert merge fields, you can search for a particular record, and then it says finish and merge, and you can just click finish and merge, and it will allow you the option to send it via email or edit or just save documents or edit individual documents. So that's basically it for mail merge, and that's basically it for the Microsoft Word series. I trust you have learned something from it, and I trust you'll find it useful in your chosen career fields. Thanks for watching.